Hey everybody, this is Peter Tusick with Humanware coming at you with another snapshot tutorial video. This one is going to be focused on the new update to Keymail that allows us to have OAuth access. So we're using OAuth, which is a type of authorization that allows access directly into your Google account without having to change all of those settings we used to have to enable. So less secure app access. I'll show you how to set up a non-Google domain account, meaning that you have a school account that is a Google Mail account. So you're using it for Google Drive or Google Docs, but it is not at gmail.com. So this would be if you have something at something.k12.suchandsuch.us, right? Or maybe just your school district, maybe district26.org or something like that. I'm going to show you how to set up a school account such as that in Keymail using the new OAuth method. So I'm on the main menu. I'm going to press the letter E and come into email.
Add account.
All right. We are in the Keymail menu and where I can read or do all of that. The first time you do this, you will probably have an add account option that you'll already be placed in. If you want to add your school account, you can certainly do so here. So you may already be on the screen that says you can set up your email in a couple of steps. If not, from the Keymail menu, select add account, move your focus to it by pressing the letter A and press enter.
Edit box. Account setup.
Now,
account email account.
so we can add our email account here. I'm going to press the letter E.
Email address. Edit box. Edit box. Enter. Computer Braille is required.
All right, we are going to get that message that computer Braille is required, and this is where I'm going to enter my email address. Now, because this is a video and I'm actually using an account that is that has credentials that we don't want to get out there, I'm going to turn my speech off, and I'm going to enter this email address in here. So again, the piece of this that's important is this is a Google account, but it is not at gmail.com. So I'm putting in the full email. And what you can do, remember the @ sign is .4 with backspace if you're needing to enter an @ sign in computer Braille. Remember that if you need to, you can always use numbers, but you need to drop them in the Braille cell, again, for US computer Braille. And if you need more help with that, we do have in the appendix of the user guide, there is a guide to all of the computer Braille symbols. I've entered my email address. I'm going to press my next thumb key, and I will move down one more option to the next button, and I will press enter. Turn my speech back on, and I'm going to press enter on the next button. It's going to bring me to this next screen. I'm going to press my next thumb key.
Account setup.
And it's going to ask me
account type.
What type of account this is. Now, in order to use this, we need to select Personal IMAP, IMAP. That is what will synchronize all of our mail between any connected devices and will work with the server. Some of you may have used POP3 in the past and other pieces that are just no longer relevant to today's mail services and clients. So we're going to select IMAP.
What type of a personal IMAP button?
Right, so we have a personal IMAP button. I'm going to press enter here. So again, personal and the word IMAP, IMAP is in parentheses. I'm going to press enter.
Password edit box.
Now,
computer
we're
Braille
brought
is required.
to a screen where we can enter our password. However, what we want to do here, instead of typing in our password, I'm going to press my next thumb key.
OR. Sign in with Google button.
So I press my next thumb key twice to move down to the Sign In with Google button. This is going to allow us to authenticate through the OAuth protocol so that we don't have to go through and do this sort of thing and change all those settings in our Google account and whatnot. So I'm going to press enter on Sign In with Google.
Edit box. Requesting authorization. Sign in. Google accounts. Web view.
All right, so we're getting a request authorization, and this is where we need to go to actually sign in our Google account. Now, on this screen, we could press the letter E and move down to the edit box that will contain our email address. It's already there. So I'm just going to press the letter B to move to the next button.
Next button.
And I'm going to press enter.
Google accounts. Web view.
Okay, now we're on the next screen of our Google account web view. We need to press the letter E again to move to the edit box.
Edit box. Enter your password.
Because this is where we're going to enter our password. So I'm going to press enter.
Edit box. Computer Braille is required.
All right, and I'm going to type in the password here. for my account. Again, you do have to use computer braille. Remember, drop those numbers. If you need to make a letter uppercase, add backspace to that letter. For other symbols, see the appendix for exclaims and various dollar signs, or if you have special characters, you can certainly do those in computer braille, but you'll want to look into what those symbols may be. I've typed in my password. I'm going to press my next thumb key.
Sign in button.
And I will be placed here on the sign in button, and I'm going to press enter.
Request for permission,
Right.
web view.
Now we get a request for permission web view, because now Google says, okay, cool, we recognize the account. Keymail now wants permission, and we need to grant permission to Keymail by our Google account. So I'm going to press the letter B 2 times, because there is a button here.
Button.
1 time, let's do it again.
Allow.
To
Button.
move down to the allow button. So I press B as in button 2 times because we're in a web view. Remember, anytime we're in a web view, H for heading, or B for button, or T for table, or G for graphic, and so on. Going to press enter on the allow button.
Account setup.
And it's going to bring me into the account setup portion here. The reason why this is important is because, again, this is a non-Google domain. So I'm going to use my next thumb key, and we need to set our incoming server settings. Now I'm going to turn speech off because I don't want it to read this account name. And for those of you who are light dependent, you won't see what this account is. But I'm going to use my next thumb key, and after the username and after the fields, I'm going to have something that says server. And in there is an edit box that we need to fix. We need to come into the server edit box. We need to clear what is there. So once I enter that edit box, I'm going to press a full cell with enter to select all of the text in that edit box, and I'm going to press backspace. Now that that box is empty, in the server edit box, I need to type in imap.gmail.com. So again, I as in idle, M as in Mary, A as in Apple, P as in Peter, imap.gmail.com. That will be in my server. And then I'm going to press my next thumb key, turn speech back on here.
Speech on.
And we need to change the security type. So I'm going to press my next thumb key until I get to the
security type drop-down list.
Security type drop-down list. I'm going to press enter.
Pop-up window. None.
And I'm going to select in this list of options SSL/TLS. So I'm going to press my next thumb key 1 time.
SSL/TLS.
And this is the one I want, SSL/TLS. I press enter.
Account setup. Security type drop-down list.
And now I've set it, and I can move down to my next button. So let's press the letter N to jump down here.
Next button.
Okay, and press enter.
Validating server settings.
All right.
Account setup.
Now we have to do the same
Account
thing
setup.
for the outgoing servers. So again, we move our focus down to the server edit box. We're going to clear what's in that server edit box. So we'll see where it says server. We need to change this. So SMTP server, we need to go into that edit box. I'm going to delete all the text that's there by pressing a full cell with enter, and then press backspace to clear that text. And I'm going to type in smtp.gmail.com in this box. So S is in Sam, M is in Mary, T as in table, P as in Peter, .gmail.com. So smtp.gmail.com. I'm going to press my next thumb key, turn speech back on.
Speech on. Security type.
And
drop-down
again,
list.
we have to change our security type. So come down to the security type drop-down list, press enter.
Pop-up window.
In the pop-up window.
None.
And use your first option, so your next thumb key to come down to.
SSL/TLS.
Kaboom. Let's press enter on SSL/TLS.
Account setup. Security type.
Awesome.
Drop-down list.
And now we've entered that.
Next button.
I can press the letter N to move down to my next button. And remember, the reason why I'm not pushing B for button is because we're not in a web view. We're using Keysoft, just regular navigation, first letter navigation here. Web views are where we use that web element navigation. So I'm going to press enter on the next button.
Account setup.
Okay.
Account setup.
And now it's
Account
these
options.
standard options here that we saw in previous videos. We can set how often we want email to sync.
Sync frequency.
Right? We have a drop-down list.
Drop-down list. Every 15 minutes.
All right, so we can change that if we'd like to. If I press my next thumb key again.
Notify me when email arrives. Checkbox. Checked.
And I can uncheck this or check this depending on what I want. Let's just uncheck it with a cursor
Not
router key
checked.
because I don't need to know every single time an email comes in. You want to make sure that
Sync email from this account. Checkbox checked.
your email is set to sync for this account. So make sure that that box is checked.
Previous. Next.
And come down
Button.
to your next button and press enter.
Creating account.
It's going to create the account.
Creating account. Account setup.
And this is where, on this screen,
Notification.
we're going to get a notification that your account's signed in, possibly, depending on where you are. But at this point in time, what will happen is you will be on a screen where you set your name on outgoing messages and you give the account a nickname. So this might be school, because this is a school email address, right? And then we'll come down all the way to the bottom to our next button. When we press enter, that email account will be set up and your email will be on its way.
Add account.
Boom.
Read.
And now, for all intents and purposes, again, we have used Keymail to sign in using the OAuth method. So to recap, the difference here is we are using that sign in with Google button when we get to that second screen where we put in our password, and we're authenticating our account through Google, which is great. It's a new method. We don't have to do anything to make our account more vulnerable. Keymail is now an approved program and will run very seamlessly straight away through your Google account, through your Gmail account, whether it is at gmail.com or a non-Google domain. Thank you, everybody. I hope this is helpful, and we will look to talk with everyone soon on another snapshot tutorial video.